Okay. All right. Well, hello, everybody. Here we are on a Sunday. This is Skyrim Addict with Jeremy and Colin and Pat and me. I'm Victor. We're just doing
Evening, guys.
Hello, everybody.
Doing a relaxed Sunday. Michael's taking the day off, and Andrew too. So we thought we'd sit around and talk about Skyrim, and we've got two new players and two sort of grizzled old players here.
Well, grizzled and old.
So, yeah, well, some of us are new and old and grizzled, but whatever. So Jeremy and Pat are the sort of the newcomers to Skyrim anyway. Certainly experienced gamers on the whole, but new to the game. So what do you guys think? Jeremy, what do you think?
It's a ton of fun. I kind of talked about a little bit of this over on Game Talk this morning, but got done with my roundtable stuff, and then I just started derping around Skyrim, trying to discover a bunch of the cities and the landmarks and stuff. So I spent a couple hours going to all the major cities, whether it be hoofing it or then realizing I could just take a carriage and then discover all the different cities. But I kind of ran around the map doing that. And as I was doing that, you start to kind of see just how deep the game is with, like yesterday, I think, walked up to a tanning rack and started making leather. No clue what I'm going to use it for, but I started making leather strips, and just, I'm starting to see just how deep and how expansive this game is, and it's awesome. And then throw mods on top of it. Looks like I'm running about 36 mods.
Jesus.
Yeah. This is on which platform are you
Xbox One.
Xbox One with the mods? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I'm up to 36 yet, but I just sort of loaded just about everything I could find that looked familiar or that I knew about, or even new ones that I hadn't used yet. So yeah. So how about you, Pat? What do you think?
Yeah, so definitely enjoying getting back to a dungeon crawl adventure gaming kind of setting for the first time in a while, because between New Vegas and Fallout 4, I was not really doing a lot of RPG type gaming on really any platform, and so Fallout 4 got me back into that, and so kind of had the itch for continuing. Obviously, wanted to participate in the roundtable, etc. I think the leveling mechanic, which you guys, of course, used to, new for Jeremy and me, is I had heard about it, wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but I think it's working fine. It's really different to not get experience for quests, although it's so that in a way feels like, oh my god, I just finished this massive quest and all I got was a pat on the back and 400 gold or whatever. But at the same time, in between, as you're doing as you're doing your skills and everything, you're leveling up. Obviously, the rate at which my sneak is leveling up is ridiculous. Archery not much behind.
Yeah, both of those level really fast, especially early in the game. So,
yeah. So the other thing is just sort of picking now. Is there a level cap of 100
for the individual perk constellations or whatever you want to call them? Yes,
but there's not a level cap on your character.
Yeah, so you can go legendary, and that means it'll drop your skill all the way back down to 15, and you get refunded all the perks you put into it, and then you can start leveling that skill again. If you understand what I mean.
I think I get it. Yeah, and that's far enough in the future. What does it matter if I get it right away or not? But just so what I was thinking about is the point of that is you're ticking, your skills are leveling up, but then you've what I was wondering is if you had a character level cap, meaning that you would have only so much ability to grow. Because it's a pretty extensive skill tree. You think about the 3 different areas and whatever, there's 7 or 8 or however many skills there are. I mean, there's a lot there, and there's things, for example, like Jeremy, I'm having fun with smithing, but at the same time, it's not really core to this character, so I don't know that I'll ever really have much bandwidth to spend much on smithing. in terms of improving that perk tree. Like, for example, I'd love to be able to do work with my magic armor, right? But if I worry about that, then I'm not going to get my destruction magic or archery or sneak or anything up to where I want them to be either. So,
well, I mean, you don't have to take perk points in any given tree, but your skill will still advance. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you could have 100 in heavy armor, but never have taken a single perk in it.
Yeah. And I guess within, like, thinking about just smithing as an example, I guess there's a couple specific things I will want. So I get your point though. So, and I actually, Jeremy, here talking about like using the leather. Well, actually, so I made some leather, and then I made some leather armor, and then I improved the leather armor to fine, and then I sold it. And obviously that gets some whatever amount of gold that it gets you, but at the same time it also gave me a few points on my smithing tree just because I was dorking around enough at the different smithing stations. So that actually was, I guess that's one way you could do it. You could just go off to the side, and I know people were talking about chopping wood for gold. I mean, that's another thing you could do. But so far I haven't had any gold issues because I'm just selling everything. I'm not stashing a lot of stuff for later.
Yeah, the crafting is one place where you can really grind, and a lot of people use the iron daggers or dwarven bows. Once you can pick up some dwarven metal, those are things you can do to really grind up your smithing. I never do that, but a lot of people do, and it's a game mechanic. You can use it or not as you please, and that's what sort of I mean, Skyrim, the way it's constructed, having these perk constellations and so on, instead of sort of preloading your character the way you do in some of the more traditional role-playing games, it's just constructed to be completely open, and I think that's what sort of unnerves some people about it, because you sort of, like Jeremy was saying, it's kind of daunting. You sort of get out there in the world and you go, okay, what now? But it's really, once you sort of grasp that, or not grasp it, but sort of accept that as part of the game mechanic, then it's just a wide open thing.
I don't think there's many wasted perks in any of the crafting. So if you stick a perk in smithing, enchanting, or alchemy, they're stuff that will nearly always be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're talking about improving your magical items, because you probably already figured that you need a special perk to improve. That is not a wasted perk.
Yeah.
No matter what you do. And it's only 2, isn't it? You can get the steel smithing, but you got to level up to level 60, I believe it is. And then you can 60, get the magic.
That's the one that I definitely would like to be able to play around with, is to
it will not be items. It will not be a wasted perk. You can spend money in that. Plus, if you get steel smithing, I mean, give me a second. What was yours? Yours was archery, destruction, and sneak. Yeah. So if you're in light armor, then you want to make yourself the best light armor for sneaking in, and then with archery, you can make your bows up to legendary. And if you get a really good I can't remember. There's a couple of good enchanted named bows that you can't make yourself.
Yeah,
that are way better. So you'd want that perk to be able to improve them. I'd say with you'd be better off going up the light side. So if you go up the left side of the tree instead of the right side, so go up Elven, Advanced Armors, and Glass.
Yeah.
That's where you find the best bows. Elves make the best bows.
Yeah, that's my character's a wood elf, and the best bow I've found so far is a dwarven bow, and it's really getting under my nerves, under my skin, that I have to use a dwarven bow as an elf. I want to get an elven bow.
Yeah, I like the orcish bows. They're pretty strong, and
yeah, I was rocking an orcish one for a long time, but then maybe it's just because it's enchanted. The dwarven bow I got is a dwarven bow of arcing, so it has electrical damage at the same time. Nice. So I picked it up like around level 11 or so, and it was quite good.
Yeah, I think in the base game there was the the dwarven bow does more damage than the orcish bow. I think with orcish, what really good at their stuff is their armor. Their armor is outclasses a lot everything else, but their weapons are subpar. I think the dwarven warhammer and the elven warhammer are better or do more damage than the orcish, even though orcish is higher up in the smithing tree.
Huh.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've played sort of vanilla that way without things like bash patches and stuff, which sort of re-level stuff, and so I kind of don't even remember what's better or not. But also just to sort of throw in a little mod, which I just because I noticed it appeared on the Skyrim Enhanced Nexus page recently, and I assume it's going to show up. That means it'll show up at least on the Xbox, and that's a little mod called Real Bows, which is a retexturing of all the bows. Because I frankly, which one's better in terms of damage ratings and so on aside, I really hate the look of the like the dwarven and elvish bows in Skyrim. I don't know. I think they look like crap. And Real Bows sort of remakes them all of them in wooden form, and they're beautiful. They're sleek. They all have slightly different shapes and looks to them, but they really look like real bows. It's really, really nice mod. So if it shows up on Xbox One, check it out just to retexture your bows. You can always throw it in there. If you don't like it, you can just pull it right back out. It's just a texture. So won't hurt anything, but definitely a nice mod.
Plus, I forgot to say, you'll need the smithing to be able to make better arrows. So,
right now I'm using dwarven arrows. Those seem to be the best ones so far. But they're
the most economical for damage rating early in the game for sure. Yeah.
Will you just go through noob question here?
Mm-hmm.
I have a bunch of different arrows. As I find them, will it just once you use up one, will it just go to the next set of arrows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever's next, depending on whether you favorite them or not, or what.
Okay. Okay. So I don't have to worry about switching over to iron arrows or steel. Whatever.
Yeah, you will feel a clunk when it switches from one. You'll pull, and if it's the very last arrow and of that type, it'll as you shoot it, it'll go clunk, and you'll go, "What the f was that?" And then you'll notice that it'll come up that it's changed to dwarven arrows or orcish arrows or something like that.
Okay.
It'll let you know.
Yeah, I was using the ancient Nord arrows are pretty good, and I think they're the same as steel.
Yes.
And then orcish and dwarven. So, and the vendors are selling dwarven now, so I can pretty much just buy dwarven.
Yeah.
You just make your own stuff that increases your smithing as well.
Okay, I'll have to. I didn't notice arrows in the smithing option, so I'll have to go back. Do you make those at the forge?
Yeah, you make them at the forge. So you need to chop some wood.
Yeah, firewood.
And then you need the perk. So you need to get the perk in smithing. So you get the steel perk to be able to make steel arrows. Then you need the dwarven perk to make dwarven arrows.
Okay.
But as I said, the elvish arrows going up the left-hand side, they do a lot more damage than dwarven.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't played with wood at all. Do you do that with the woodcutter's axe or with the mill?
Yeah, you do with the woodcutter's axe. And if you're in Whiterun, Bellathor's shop.
Yep. Yeah, right behind there. Yeah. There. I noticed.
You noticed the guy chopping wood.
His little minion was chopping wood the other day. So yeah.
There's almost always an axe somewhere near.
Yeah, and that bastard never gets off that effing thing apart from like once every 2 hours.
Yeah.
So there's another one up by the Bannered Mayor behind the guy who sells the meat. You'll have a guy who's selling meat on one of the stalls.
Yeah,
and right behind him, in front of the Bannered Mayor, there's another woodcutter's thing.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
So did anybody watch Gopher's thing that I posted today?
I didn't not.
I've seen the one where he posted about his mod Predator Vision. He's finally got it on PC, and he will be exporting it over to Xbox One.
Yeah, which was really disappointing that it wasn't immersive HUD that he popped up first, but whatever. I haven't watched that little video. Yeah. No, he had some interesting points. It was one of them was similar to what we were talking about just a few minutes ago about levels and stuff like that, where he talks about how the leveling in Skyrim is, where you can be, like I said, you can have a level of 100 in any given perk tree without having taken any perks, and it makes you can create a completely different character out of similar cloth, in that regard, which is kind of a good point about the way it's constructed. But it's a video that's worth checking out. Sorry, Facebook is making noises at me. So Jeremy, what are your experiences here? Any more?
Oh boy, I think Pat's been asking a lot of questions in the group and stuff, and kind of the same questions of just, what do these things do? What do I need leather straps for? One of the big questions I have is there a material found, obviously throughout Skyrim, that is something we should be looking for and picking up, even though it looks like, or maybe sounds like, it could be more of a common item, whether it be what's most valuable or what's the most rare that you need for alchemy or something like that?
That's a really good question. I mean,
I'm sorry. My early answer is salt.
Salt is good, yeah, especially for food recipes.
Yeah, if you're gonna make food. Sorry, I didn't mean to chop picture. I was just chuckling because I could never have enough salt. I have more cabbage than I can count, but
I think loot everything. That's the that's the rule of thumb in games like this. And as soon as you have found safe storage, and that's easy to like. And I think Andrew mentioned earlier today that one of his favorite safe storage spots is Anissa's cabin, and that's a good one. But not all the containers in Anissa's cabin are safe, but several of them are. And you can find lists all over the web as to what's a safe container and what isn't. There's barrels here and there that do not respawn, and there's barrels that do. So you want to make sure you use one that does not respawn. And then, of course, as soon as you have your own dwelling, everything inside the dwelling is safe. But I mean, obviously, blue mountain flower, that's one of the major ingredients in lots of health potions in particular, and also paradoxically in a couple of nasty poisons. So blue mountain flower and hanging moss make a superb poison that also will knock up your alchemy really well if you make a bunch of them.
I'm not sure I've seen that yet.
Yeah. What, hanging moss? Or
hanging moss.
It's around. There's a lot more of it in places like there's some in Riften, but there's a lot of it in the Reach. It hangs off a lot of the rocks in the Reach, and you'll find a bunch of it in Solitude as well.
It's usually in dungeons, deep dark dungeons, hanging off the walls.
A lot of it in dungeons, yeah.
You've got alchemy, haven't you, Jeremy, in your
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. The easiest way to find the is find a potion that you like, that you use all the time, because like your warrior skill is smithing as well. So there's a fortify smithing potion.
Okay.
So what you could do is gather all the the ingredients for that, and you'll be making quite a lot of those, because whether you take it just before you improve something, and it gives you an extra boost, so it improves it a little bit more. So if you mix two ingredients together, that makes a smithing potion, and then go to your ingredient section, and then just add something else to see if that will make give you an extra effect. So let's see. I think it's two that's smithing would be. I'm trying to think what would be common. They're not very common. The only common one is the glowing mushroom that you find in caves. and then I think it's Spriggan Sap, and was it?
I got killed by one of those today.
Yeah, actually, that brings up a good point about just glowing mushrooms. Reminded me, one of the chief ingredients in resist potions is snowberries. So you gather snowberries everywhere you possibly can, and when you add glowing mushrooms to snowberries, you get resist shock. When you add thistle to snowberries, you get resist frost, and when you add dragon's tongue to snowberries, you get resist fire. So that's a really important ingredient.
It also has fortify enchanting as well.
Right, and it's another fortify. And then, of course, as Colin was saying, when you have enough ingredients, which unfortunately is difficult the way Bethesda constructed the game, since you only get one ingredient per gather point, and that's where some excellent mods that we use a lot come in handy, like Harvest Overhaul and a more recent one called Complete Alchemy and Cooking Overhaul add more per gather point, so you'll get 3 or 4 flowers instead of 1, which
okay,
really helps in alchemy for sure. I did notice one little thing that I believe was added to special edition is now you get 2 wings per butterfly instead of 1. Which was the original legendary game had only 1 butterfly wing, which is utterly ridiculous. But
there's a few things that it looks like they've patched, like like the sprinting is now toggleable.
That got me. Yes, it is. You have to remember to toggle it off, or early on your stamina goes to shit very quickly.
Yeah. And the other thing is when you're preparing to run through those swinging traps, it's like before you just knew to hold down the sprint button and you're going through. But if you've pressed it once and you're not exactly sure where you are, you can turn it off and then run forward and run straight into those traps.
Oh God, yeah, I thought of that.
Because they're not sprinting. So
you're talking about the pit and the pendulum type traps.
Yeah,
the swinging axes. Yeah,
those are nasty.
Yeah.
So that's probably my best alchemy tip. Is as Victor was saying, if you get loads of snowberries and loads of thistle. Snowberries and thistle is absolutely everywhere, and that will make a resist frost potion. And then just add like start at the very top, add a bee, and then if that adds an extra effect, then great, you've discovered that one. And then you take off the bee, and then you move down to boar tusk, and then a boar tusk, and then if that doesn't do anything, then you move on to the next one, and then you put and then you just keep on going through the entire list. And that'll give you more and more effects. And then you move on to the next one, sort of like, as you're saying, Dragon's Tongue, and I think it's Bone Meal is Resist Fire. Add those 2 together, and then just keep on adding a 3rd ingredient to be able to find all your different ones.
And the potions with 3 ingredients obviously are worth more, and they're worth more points.
Yeah, you just sell them afterwards
as well.
But sometimes
sorry, go ahead.
Sometimes you'll have one that adds health but also poisons you at the same time. Obviously, you don't want to be taking those.
Right,
or you've got a poison that will heal the guy you're attacking as well.
Right. That's what the Blue Mountain Flower and Hanging Moss does. It's a damage magic. It'll damage 100% of magic regeneration, but it also adds points to health. So it's great for leveling up alchemy and selling because it's a really valuable potion, but it's not that great for using unless you're ready to have your opponent gain some health. Which isn't bad. I mean, if you're using it against mages, especially if you have a good follower or something, it doesn't really the adverse effects outweigh the good effects of the potion. So,
can I ask a soul gem question?
Sure.
So I was all proud of myself because I got this. I think I bought the Capture Soul spell from a book, and soul gems are pretty plentiful. They're not that hard to find. I was trying to capture a Forsworn, so they're fairly nerdy. They're not, not super powerful enemies. And I took him. I did the capture spell. I killed him with the bow, and then I got the message: no gem large enough to capture soul or something like that. And I was surprised because I had I think I had lesser, petty, but I think I had a common, and I was surprised that a common soul gem, is it based on the opponent's level as to?
No, it's
Right.
only black soul gems can take human souls anyway. That's
Oh,
the
okay,
first thing.
okay.
But so
And black. I'm sorry, black. Is it name black, or is it like a color black and it's greater or something?
both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I forget
it's-
where you find them most often.
Yeah, no, it's a black soul gem. It's well, basically you'll be able to tell the look of it. It looks like really dark, and all human souls are all humanoid. Sorry, Marcus. All humanoid souls are grand souls.
Okay.
Right.
The only grand souls you get that go in a white soul gem are stuff like Drog or
Mammoths.
Death, Overlords, Mammoths, and a few of the really, really high level Farmer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Basically, creatures or animals. They'll go all in your white soul gems. So from
the
your
bigger-
lesser is
Sorry.
that's right, go on.
No, I was going to say the bigger soul gems are all it's not the black ones are the same as in shape as the petty, lesser, and common, but the greater and grand soul gems have multiple crystals on them, so you can recognize
Okay.
them that way as well.
All right. Cool.
And
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Thanks. Because I guess I just probably screwed it up somehow because I thought I had done all of what I needed to do to capture, a wolf or some, animal soul, and it didn't work. And I thought, oh, maybe only, sentient things have souls. So I'll just have to try again with some nerdy critters.
it also pays to sort of learn which creature has which kind of soul, and then sort of populate your inventory with that. Because unfortunately, you can capture, common souls in a grand soul gem if that's the only one you have in your inventory.
Right.
And then the only way to get rid of that is to drop the gem and then pick it back up again, and then the soul will be gone. But it's kind of a pain in the butt. And so without mods, and I'm sure something's going to show up on Xbox at some point soon if it hasn't already, that will only put the correct soul in the correct gem. But there's plenty of those out there for PC already.
So if you have a smattering of the different levels, it'll go to. If you have one of each, will it go to the right one?
God damn it.
Yeah, if you have an
Yes.
empty petty, and it will go, a petty soul will
Okay.
go into it for sure. But yeah, but if the smallest empty gem you have is a common, and you capture a petty soul, it will go into the common gem.
Got it. Okay.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Well, I guess it's while we're kind of on the topic of soul gems, enchantments, and things like that. I was playing around with disenchanting things just to see what would happen, and I did some effect like a magicka regen or something, and I happened to have a piece of jewelry in my inventory, and I said, well, I'll see if I could do that. It wouldn't let me. It says you can't attach that enchantment to that item.
Right.
But what's an example of something that you can attach to like a ring or an amulet?
Oh God.
You think of, is that anything common or?
Yeah, it's pretty much most of them. There's only a couple that you can't attach to a ring.
Okay, yeah, because this was a regen magic, and I thought that'd be perfect for because I didn't want to give up an armor slot for that, but if I could do it with a ring or an amulet, it'd be pretty nice.
You're better off when you're going for the rings and the amulets. You have two different ones. You'll have one that's fortify magicka,
Right.
and one that's was a magicka regeneration.
Okay.
On their own, they can go on a ring, but what you disenchanted was more than likely a set of robes.
Oh, it was definitely.
has-
Yeah.
It has two enchantments in one that can only go on robes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because it's just a mechanic that they pulled in that particular enchantment, and that particular enchantment is actually, when you do it yourself, is very weak. If you get a really good pair of robes, you're better off wearing those ones instead of trying to pull the enchantment off of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was about to say
Because no matter how high level that you get in enchanting, you will never beat those robes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, even with
This was
fortify
something. This was
enchanting.
like apprentice or novice, because I knew at least right now in the early game, I've got to have the armor because I just That's actually the one thing that we haven't talked about. Sort of maybe things that maybe Jeremy and I don't like. I'm sure Jeremy's got some peeves or things he doesn't like. The one thing I miss relative to Fallout, just because I'm not a good fighter, controller in a fight. I really use VATS a lot because that sort of sequential pausing really helps me control a fight, especially against a lot of things. I have a real hard time with that. That's my biggest sort of peeve about the game, is that even if you have a character that's a sneak character, you can get yourself sort of backed into corners where you're having to fight huge mobs of enemies. Like, for example, I was doing the quest in Markarth, where you sneak around getting out, and you keep getting threatened by people, and eventually you talk to Nepo or Nespo or whatever the guy's name is. You're just having an innocent conversation with the guy, and all of a sudden at the end of that conversation, you're jumped by 4 people.
Yeah.
By all 4 people that are in that house jumped.
And they're tough too, aren't they?
Yeah. So I just completely gave up on that quest because, for now, hopefully I'll be able to figure out a way to come back to it. But that was one that, no matter how you were playing that quest, even if you were playing it persuasively and everything else, you get jumped there. So how do you deal with that?
Yeah,
higher level.
Yeah, a higher level. Did you have your follower with you at the time?
I did not. Did not. Yeah.
That helps a
They're
lot.
tough. They really are in general. They may not be equipped very well. You might not get good loot from them, but they're generally pretty tough.
Yeah.
They're good melee fighters, and they have magic on their side.
Yeah.
It's one of the few. I was talking to someone. I think it was Benoit. I think his name was in the Facebook group, and he's made himself, as he named it, a weird kick-ass or badass Breton. And I said to him, all Bretons are badass. It doesn't matter which one. They're awesome because they got magic resistance, great with conjuration, and they're great with melee weapons. You'll probably come up against a Breton called a Briarheart, and they're demonstrably tough. Just absolutely horrible enemies to face. There's 2 different types. There's one that wields magic at you, and there's one that is like a dual wield sort of like melee type, and both of them are you go, oh bloody hell, it's the melee type, and then when you meet the mage type, you're like, oh bloody hell, it's the mage type. Neither one you want to face. You just sort of like kind of want to keep away from them because they're so tough. There's a little cave where there's a Briarheart that's actually working on somebody. I can never remember the name of the cave. There's only 1 or 2 of them in there. But he's one of those melee ones, and you meet him in a narrow tunnel as he comes up after you, and it's like death.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty advanced quest too. That's the Forsworn conspiracy that you were doing. So
yeah, because I was dorking around Markarth for my house. Well, not to get the round table, but it's Flindrel Hall. But I'm gonna just have to wait and do that much later.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Jeremy,
there's the option of if you want to go there, you could run away, run out if you can get to it, run out the front door. They do chase you, but at least you can sort of like spread them out, and the guards don't help you either. Yeah. If you run out when they're chasing you, trying to kill you, the guards won't help.
Yeah, I did that with the hired thug issue. I had the same issue. I had to spread out the hired thugs, and I was able to take them out one at a time, no problem.
They're pretty hard too. Yeah.
I was dealing with those things at level 9 or 10, and it was really tough.
Yeah, you got to wonder how the heck did they find you? It's like how did that person know I stole their stuff? Yeah, it was in full sneak. They weren't there, but nevertheless they found. It
was Threcky, and I don't even remember who Threcky was. That's how little it meant to me. I don't know if you guys know who Threcky. I haven't bothered to look him up.
No, I don't even.
Threcky
remember.
was the guy who hired him.
Yeah, it's a big pain in the butt. Yeah. So, Jeremy, you got any peeves?
Well, I do. The first one, and this is not an attack on Lydia, Colin, so back off. Calm down. Is the follower not keeping up with you? Like turn around and they're 100 yards behind you, and I know in Fallout they didn't take the shortcuts also, but that. Like when I'm in the middle of a battle or about to be, and I turn around and Lydia's coming down the mountainside, and she's not going to be there until the battle's over, that's slightly annoying. But again, that's because I'm jumping down the sides of the mountain as opposed to taking the path. And the biggest thing from Fallout 4 to Skyrim is that your companion will die.
Yeah.
So save often.
Well, usually you have to kill your companion yourself. I mean, generally, right? Or that's another thing where I've lost track of vanilla game with all the mods that I've played for so many years now. I can never remember what's vanilla and what isn't.
And most of the time, against an enemy, they'll knock your follower down to the followers on your knees, and then they'll turn and start attacking you. And if within the fight you strike your companion while you're fighting, while they're down on the knee, then they'll die.
Yeah.
So it's been my fault.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's usually friendly
yeah, because I'm using.
You do need. A lot of people don't on the games, and it's one of the things that really annoys me. You need to equip your follower correctly. If you find really good weapons and you're not going to use it, give it to your follower.
Yeah, that's
when you get healing potions, give half of them to your follower, especially if you're using your follower as a tank. And basically all house girls, nearly like 90% of them are tanks. They're all in heavy armor with a sword and shield, so they're there to be able to take the damage for you. So for fuck's sake, give them some healing potions.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point.
They don't take stamina potions or was it resist potions or anything like that. They just never swallow them, but they will gulp down healing potions. But it's always good to do them.
I forget. Will they also, if you equip them with amulets and rings, do those affect them?
The resist ones do. Increased carry weight and fortify magical regeneration. They don't work. Yeah. But the resist fire, resist shock, all those, they have an effect, and Yeah,
that's a great point.
I killed. I got I bought the dog, and the first fight I got into with him, because I've been using one-handed sword with usually flames in the left hand, and of course the first time I got into a fight, I burned the dog and he turned hostile, so I had to immediately kill my dog.
Oh no! There is a free dog called Miko, and you'll find him on the road between Morthal and Dragon's Bridge. And he's got a little tiny quickie. It's not really a quest, but he'll be standing in the road, and you follow him. Yeah, follow him into the woods, and then you can get him as a follower. And he's pretty good early game follower too, if you like dogs.
So can you have the dog and a companion? So can I have Lydia and a dog?
Yes,
I believe so. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. Just like Fallout. Yeah, you can have.
You can have it. That's not. You can't have that in Fallout.
That was the they were originally supposedly going to do that, but they
oh, that's right. Okay,
that's why
again, me with the mods, I can't.
That's why the Lone Wanderer perk doesn't let you have dog meat, because originally he wasn't going to count.
Yeah. So yeah.
But besides that, I don't know.
Sorry, I was just going to mention it's the way they path the followers. The followers do have to run from place to place. It's like if you say to a follower or go home, they will turn around and then start walking home, and they'll walk all the way back to where the house is. They won't just suddenly disappear like they do in Fallout 4 and magically appear at the destination. They walk from there. There's one time, a couple of times, where I've played and had loads of time, so I just told my follower to go home, and then I just strolled alongside the road with them all the way back to the house. It's a lot of fun.
So home, when you say go home, they go to your current home, not to their Jarl's place or whatever.
It depends on whether you have the house. Like if it's Lydia and you've bought Bree's home, she'll go back to Bree's home.
All right. Because I feel like I should have sent her there to go take care of the kids, because I have my orphan and my backup orphan. So
Andrew is in the YouTube chat, and he says, "Tell Jeremy he can have a dog, a follower, as in Barbas and Esbern or Brother Varulus, all at once." So that's a That's one way of getting multiple
That's
followers.
that's a patented Andrew cheat.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like the one you mentioned, Victor? Is that kind of like, is it Thorin that you can get in the Vampire's Lair, who will follow you into the? There's a random Nord guy who will follow you into that one vampire. It's the quest. It's the quest of Little Girl's Ghost, where you ultimately have to kill a master vampire.
Yep. So yeah,
also, Cameron Jackson says hi. By the way, just
hi, Cameron.
Also in the YouTube chat there. I see. I'm sorry. I'm looking at both and trying to keep track of everything. What was it? Jeremy. So if you get way ahead of your follower and you know you're going to get into something before they catch up, you can always just do a quick 1 hour wait and they'll catch up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never even thought about that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's nice being able to wait without furniture again.
Yeah, yeah. That really stunned me when I started playing Fallout 4. But the other thing, going back, I keep forgetting to mention this. One of the first things, and you touched on it, Pat, as far as leather goes. That's one of the first things I ever do when I'm sort of doing an early game. Is I make leather armor and smith it up, because it's much better than anything you'll get early in the game. So, and it's really good armor.
And that's considered light?
Yeah, it's light armor. Yeah. So if you get enough leather, and it's easy to smith up, but you don't need a lot of ingredients for it. Leather and leather strips and stuff, and you can make a full set of light leather armor and smith it up to fine. And it's actually pretty good for the first few levels of the game. And you get enough, even with that bear pelt you get coming out of the cave and the 2 or 3 wolves you kill, and then you can actually, if you're a thief, you can break into Feindel's house and steal a bunch of stuff in there, and bear pelts and things like that, pelts that you can make 2 pieces of leather out of instead of just 1. And then you'll have enough leather to make some nice leather armor. And that's a point about stealing. I mean, anything that you steal can be converted in crafting. You can then sell. So you can steal a pelt which you can't sell, but you can convert it to leather and sell that. So that's handy to know.
Yeah. Are there merchants who would be fences who will take the stolen stuff, or is that universal that you can never sell it?
No, you have to start the Thieves Guild in order to
Vez or whatever. Okay, right.
Yeah. So you won't be able to, unless I forget when do the fences activate, Colin? Is it after you've done the mead quest and everything at the beginning of the Thieves Guild, or
yeah, you have the fence that's in the Thieves Guild, and then the first fence you make out in the world is the one at the mead house. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So you got Tamla, whatever her name is, starts with a T. She's a fence. Yeah. Cameron Jackson also says, "Can you tell them you can have 2 follower and 2 dogs?" So I'm not sure what that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember having. I don't think you can have. You can only have 1 pet, not unless. You can have a horse and a dog, and because your horse will attack, but it'll more than likely die, especially when he goes up against dragons. So you can have a horse, and they'll attack stuff for you when you get in a fight. You can have a dog with you, and you can have your house call or whatever other type of follower that you get. There's a couple of ones that are, as Andrew was saying earlier on, which are quest locked, so they will follow you as a part of a quest, but if you don't take them to the designated destination, they will just continuously follow you all over Skyrim. And because they're quest locked, they're immortal, so they'll never die.
I did that with Thorin. I was dragging him all over because I couldn't kill that vampire. So I thought that he might do that based on Andrew's experience, and sure enough, he he followed me all over Skyrim. It was great.
Yeah, no, that you're talking about Movath, and I just
Movarth is the vampire.
Yeah, I had a talk with him as well, and he is seriously tough. You want to go in there loaded up with and have a plan when you're going up, because he's also got his followers around, and they're all pretty close by as well.
Yeah. They have those thralls, and he has thralls and baby vampires, and everything else. Yeah, I had to do the picking them off one by one to get him, and he was really tough.
He's got a deep lore story. I won't go into it or anything like that, but Movarth isn't just a unique character to Skyrim. He's been around for ages.
Nice. Yeah. Always good to have that kind of stuff in the game.
Yeah, look him up. There's even a book.
Did you find his boots, Pat?
Ooh, I don't remember. Hope I didn't sell them.
Yeah, they're pretty decent. You can't.
Are they named?
They are named. They're named Movarth's boots, and they'll go well with you if you find them.
I sure don't remember getting those. I'll have to. Now, it's possible I may have sold it, because I've got the Thieves Guild matched armor.
Yeah.
Which I guess right now at my level it doesn't matter, but I was looking at the perk tree, and I see their stuff later on that gives you some nice bonuses when you have a fully set of matched armor. Plus, it looks damn good that way too.
It does. It's one of the better looking ones. Most of the light armors are nearly always the better looking ones, apart from the glass and the elvish. But the leather and that Thieves Guild one. What I'm really liking, what I'm rocking at the moment, is a full set of Dawnguard armor, the heavy stuff. And that looks pretty awesome, and it's got some good resistances against vampires, so gives you extra protection when you're fighting vampires. So,
were there's many vampires in the game pre-Dawn, just in terms of wandering around pre-Dawnguard, or did Dawnguard add a lot more wandering vampires?
When I started playing, it was I already had the legendary set, so I started playing Skyrim 2 years after it came out. So I'm not too sure. I've always had the DLCs on my game, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, when you kick off Dawnguard, the amount of vampires that you do meet shoots up a lot by a good 30-40%. It shoots up by the amount of vampires.
It seems like I've got in terms of tough wandering things, I've seen more vampires than anything else by a long shot. I've seen a lot of wolves, but they're wimps. They're not hard to deal with. But I've met a lot of vampires.
Yeah, stop traveling at night, Pat.
No, they're out of the day. What's up with that? I did that. I said, no, screw this. I've got to travel in the middle of the day, and there's still vampires. I hate these guys.
Yeah. And they also, I believe, I don't know if it's a Dawnguard or vanilla thing, but they actually attack in the background as well. I mean, you don't have to be present for vampire attacks to occur. Sometimes you'll arrive somewhere and there'll be dead people lying around. Wonder how it happened, But
that's what they always say. I'm sorry, I didn't see anything. I never saw it happen, officer. As you sort of continued selling your stuff to cheating merchant. Skooma dealer.
So we got some peeves aside. So what are you guys? I mean, both you, Jeremy and Pat, you're both using mods, right? So
I'm not.
Oh, that's right. You're not. Okay.
Pure vanilla, but feel free to talk about mods. That's okay. Didn't want to call off the discussion.
Yeah, I don't want to belabor it or talk too much about them. But Jeremy, what have you played around with different saves yet, or are you just adding mods to the same character, or what?
I'm living on the edge. I'm just adding them to my round table character.
Yeah, as long as you're not subtracting too much. What do you like so far?
I've been, one of the big ones I downloaded earlier and really enjoyed was the River Run. I'm trying to find it here. there was one that kind of redoes just kind of some of the aesthetic things in Riverrun. Or Riverrun, right?
Riverwood.
Riverwood? Shit,
Yep.
I called it Riverrun the whole time on Game Talk. Riverwood Reborn. Just kind of adds a little bit to the look. I don't think it adds anything besides just some aesthetics. And then I went and got a bunch of, was it Arthmore? He's got a bunch of mods. Little small ones like Whistling Mine and Karthwaston, if that's what that word is.
Yeah, Karthwaston,
There you go.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of his stuff I grabbed just because I think I've heard you talk about him before. I hope.
I don't know.
Arthmore.
Yeah. Who isn't he the one that does the unofficial patch?
Yeah, and a bunch of other stuff too. The
Yeah.
cutting room floor
Yep,
and
grab
and
that
stuff like
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously the patch, and I think one of the first things after the patch, unofficial patch, was what's it called? Lampposts of Skyrim.
Yeah, there's two of those out there now. I noticed there's lanterns of Skyrim and lampposts of Skyrim, and the lamppost ones I wasn't familiar with. Lanterns of Skyrim's been around for a long time.
I may have both. I don't know if that's good or not, but
you might want to check the RTFM in there somewhere and see if they specifically call each other out as conflicting or not. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Jeremy's playing in Vegas.
maybe.
Yeah.
I like the way lampposts kind of
They do look good.
described
Yeah.
itself, that it was, it's not everywhere. It's not walking down a city street. It's just random posts.
Yeah, they're out on bridges out in the wilderness and stuff. It's really nice to see that pool of light. It's sort of the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe effect. The lamppost in the wilderness. I don't know if anybody's read those books, but anyway, that's sort of a famous image from those books. It's really kind of nice.
Was it? Gopher was talking about that mod before. I think it was. It's either Lanterns of Skyrim or it was the one that's the equivalent for Fallout New Vegas. And the guy who made the mod actually inserted a guy into it, like a character who would go around all over Skyrim lighting all the lanterns.
Yep.
And then people started sending him photos of the guy lying dead and the character standing over him.
Oh, no.
So on an update, he uber sort of God mode the lantern guys to make him uber tough. So then everybody who attacked him got their asses handed to them. It was amazing.
That's funny.
Yeah, I also grabbed better lighting for the cities. I'm not a big fan of dark games, so things like this that can kind of help when you're at night. And typically, I just fast travel and go home and sleep through the night.
Okay.
I don't know. I just like playing in a brighter environment. I also got downloaded Vivid Weathers.
Yeah, those Vivid Weathers and Climates of Tamriel both have sort of night darkening sections to them. They're a lot more robust on the PC side, in terms of in-game menus and stuff like that. At least on the Legendary Skyrim version, because SKSC is in effect there. But both of them have night darkening effects. Climates of Tamriel, I think, offers you some levels of darkening when you install the mod, but I don't know how it works on Xbox One. I threw it in there because I like Climates of Tamriel myself a little bit over Vivid Weathers, although there's parts of Vivid Weathers that I like a lot, like the snowstorms are absolutely gorgeous. They're beautifully done. But in general, I like the color palette of Climates of Tamriel a little better. So you can, although if you've installed Vivid Weathers, I wouldn't remove it.
Okay.
try a different, try a new game. You're not going to overwrite your existing saves if you start a new game.
Right.
So, set up a different, so to speak, profile and try something else. But since the thing is with I don't really know right now how to. It's never a good idea to uninstall a lot of mods in mid save, but with on the consoles right now, they're still using scripts. They're not using external scripts yet, but it's probably still not a great idea to remove scripted mods like that. But hey, give it a try, see what happens. I wouldn't want you to ruin your roundtable character.
Right.
So
I went for more of the aesthetics, just things that add cities and looks and stuff. The only thing that might be considered a semi-cheat is Rich Merchants of Skyrim. And that gives every merchant, I think, 10,000 gold.
Oh yeah, that's a little OP. There's there will appear some more some better designed mods that adjust merchant gold and also adjust sort of the economy a little bit. I don't know when those will show up. Trade and barter and a couple others that are really good. Hopefully they'll show up on console and SE versions. But yeah, that's 10,000 is an awful lot.
I just really wanted to get my house, so I just kept chopping wood till I got money and just got sick of running to. That's
a lot of chopping.
Well, I did some grinding on some other stuff to get gold, but what is it, Lucerne? Is that who's Riverwood Trader? I kept running my wood back.
Yeah, Lucan.
And got sick of seeing his number getting close to 0, so I said, "Screw it! I'll download this mod and help make it a little easier to get my house."
Yeah. And that was one thing I did in vanilla. It's really Bellathor is the only one that I consistently run out of money. Everybody, the traders mostly seem to have enough money to buy the crap I'm selling them most of the time.
That's because they're all type specific. Because
right.
Like, the blacksmith, they'll only buy blacksmith materials, weapons, and armor. Whereas Bellathor, where he's a shop, he'll buy anything. He'll buy weapons, armor, clothing, wooden bowls, iron pots, anything. He'll buy absolutely everything all the crap that you picked up. He'll buy everything. So, and the Khajiits outside the town, they'll buy anything as well.
I always forget about the Khajiits because that's when I go to Bellathor, because he'll, like, if I slip and pick up a bucket or a tankard or something, if I don't get over encumbered, I'll just hang on to it and then wait until I get to Bellathor or like you say, like a Khajiit or something. But it's not like in Fallout where I literally pick up everything because I'm going to take it home and scrap it. That's. I mean, I know there's scrapping mods here, but pretty much that doesn't apply in the base game. So I try not to encumber myself with cheap crap like buckets and tankards.
I got a whole chest full of that garbage.
Hey, Jeremy mentioned sleeping. Is there any reason that you need to sleep other than the rested and well-rested perk bonus?
No reason that you need to, but it is a 20% increase.
Right. I mean, yeah, those are worth. Yeah, what is it? Rested is 10 and well-rested is 20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they're very worth it, especially if you're getting up to do like a potion making session, or you're going to do a smithing session. They're definitely worth it when you're doing that sort of stuff. So, I know you guys are not much or peers, but if you go back to your house, sort of take off all your crap, put all your stuff in each individual chest, and then go upstairs, have a nap, sleep until first thing in the morning, or you'd probably be better off sleeping until about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then getting up then and then doing it. And then by the time you're finished, all the shops should still be open. Because I've had it where I've got up first thing in the morning at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I've forgotten the name of it now.
Word Maidens doesn't open until 10 o'clock. I noticed that.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Huh.
Because I was waiting until, because most of them are 8, but I was you know how you walk up to it and you push A reflexively, and all of a sudden you're picking the lock and say, no, I don't want to do that. Don't want to get that kind of reputation.
Yeah.
I know. I know she's outside. Adrienne, she's out from like about 6 o'clock in the morning, I think.
Yeah, she's out. That's right. She gets out there really early. It's basically at daybreak, but she can't go inside to transact with the other guy until I think it's 10 o'clock.
Lazy son of a bitch.
Yeah, really. Hey, wake up and sell me some armor.
Andrew keeps telling you to go to sleep, Pat. He says something about a nap. I'm not sure what he's talking. So, so I'm curious, Colin, what if anything do you miss playing SE over say either modded?
Sorry. Thank you very much. My Skyrim SE on my computer is awesome. The load screens are like snap instantly. I'm in and I'm out the other side of the door. It's the most smoothest running game ever, and like compared to my other one, my vanilla game, my legacy Skyrim is fucked. Even like vanilla, when I say vanilla, it's still run through Mod Organizer with SKSE onto it. But I think I don't know whether I've done something, because I sort of like deleted the entire game and then downloaded it and verified the cache flows and then reinstalled Mod Organizer inside of it. I don't know whether I've done something wrong, but that is completely bollocks. But the Skyrim SE works as smooth as butter. I mean, I've got that on vanilla as well. There's no mods on it at all, but I don't know. And I'm loving it at the moment. I'm using that for my Seeks the Light playthrough. And that's just like a perfect running game. I don't have any issues with it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's certainly the frame rates are beautiful and
astronomical.
yeah, to the point where it's a little the physics get a little screwed up. I think I don't know if it's possible to. Well, you can. I haven't played with the settings like VSync and stuff like that to see if you can limit the frame rate. But that
in some places you're getting like 180 frames per second or something.
Wow.
Yeah. Which, by the way, guys, is for Jeremy and Pat, that the Havoc physics engine in Skyrim. I don't know if it's not the case anymore with the
no, it is. I've got some flying cows here and there.
Oh, you do? Okay, yeah, you get a lot of weird anomalies when your frame rates go really high, and mammoths dropping from the sky, which actually is kind of nice because that kills them, so you can run and loot them. But
I wonder if that's related. Is it the same engine as Fallout 4? Because there's the flying death claw that you can get in Fallout 4.
Yeah, yes. Similar. I think it's like, what is it, like just a little bit less advanced than the Fallout 4 engine, because they were working on this before Fallout. This was sort of their trial balloon, I think. Wasn't that what they said? So
yes, Skyrim SE, it performs miles better than Legacy Skyrim ever did on my computer.
Yeah. That's definitely the advantage of the DX11 or whatever, et cetera, and 64-bit and stuff. Yeah. Again, I hadn't actually, believe it or not, I'd been playing on the Xbox One since the launch pretty much. It wasn't until today that I actually started running SE on my PC. And of course, what did I do immediately? Start loading mods. So I have, as far as the stability of it goes, I can't really say yet. I think it actually, initially I thought it looks better on the PC, but now I'm beginning to wonder, and I need to run back to my Xbox One and look at it and see if it's a little bit, there's a little more sharpening on the Xbox One. So for the console engine or whatever, however it's rendering the graphics, there's a little more sharpening there as opposed to the PC, which has a much softer look to it. You think does that sound about right, Colin? Is that your experience with it? No.
I'm not too sure. I think I had like a couple of days break between I was playing my Seeks to Light before I jumped over to my Round Table character, so I didn't see that much of a difference.
Yeah.
Although you see, the problem is that my television for that HDI setup, I've messed around with the picture settings on the TV side. So the TV side is really dark and really moody and things like that. So I don't have to mess around with the computer settings. And so I don't have to sort of like mess around with the lighting. I can just install the lighting mod, and then it's good to go because I've done all the things that I need to do through the TV settings. But my Xbox runs through a different HDI setting, so it's on the sort of like basic setting, so it's a little bit lighter on that side. So
okay, yeah. Yeah, well, I started. I came out and saved at the exit of the cave there, and I did some screenshots, and I was looking at the vanilla setting, and then I added climates of Tamriel, and that and then I took that away. Of course, I have a standard character that I use for doing this kind of testing, and he's an Argonian, and I call him Tests Many Things. And so I had poor Tests Many Things out there, and I basically I completely wrecked the game until it was crashing, adding and removing stuff and vivid weathers. I put that in there and looked at it, and I sort of come down on almost on the in terms of SE anyway. Liking the vanilla SE better than either of the other two. I'm just going to wait and see if they tweak them a little bit and try to figure out which one I like best. For Legacy, like I said, I like the Climates of Tamriel a little better, but I'm still not 100% sure. And also, I should say for anybody who's interested, that I did experiment today with Enhanced Vanilla Trees, which is a mod that really makes the trees really cool, and it hasn't really released in SE yet. It's not over on the SE side of the Nexus, but I downloaded it from the Legacy Skyrim side, installed it, and it works great. So it's anybody who wants to can throw that in, and it makes the trees bigger and fuller, and they look really good. It's really, really nice. But as far as the things I miss, it's been so long since I'd played without like Sky UI and stuff, and certain other mods, that it's tough. It's tough going back to the the older menuing system. I'm having a really hard time. I feel better going to the PC because I have my multi-button mouse, and that helps. With quick changes of weapons and things, but it's the inventory system seems a little cumbersome. So that's my biggest thing right now, and it's hard to get used to. So anyway, I know
that's one thing I really like about this game is the in-game menu. Just that it's very sometimes you'll have a game and it'll be like a fantasy setting, and they'll do some sort of stylized script, and it's like something that's like sometimes even hard to read or whatever. But what they've done here, it's very clean. It's your actual normal text script. It pops up nicely.
Well, that's a fair point. You're right. I guess like you're talking maybe like Oblivion, which had kind of a fanciful menu. Yeah, you're right. I guess I should be satisfied. it's actually in terms of like the quality of the menu. I think it's better than the sort of the on-screen commands and everything. I actually like it better than Fallout or just. Well, certainly bigger and more legible than reading it in the Pip-Boy. Yeah, that's for sure. And the map is 100% better to look at than.
Oh yeah.
Despite the fact that the vanilla map doesn't have roads, which I found really annoying from the get-go, but and that hasn't appeared. Come to think of it, that has not appeared on any of the mod sites yet for SE, which surprises me, because that was one of the earliest Skyrim mods was the map with roads, but it hasn't appeared yet. It's too bad.
Yeah, you just with the base map, you just sort of have to intuit that. Okay, yeah, that looks like a valley, and it looks like it's passable.
Yeah, and there's sort of faint things that look like they might be roads.
Yeah.
But I never understood that choice. But at least if you put the roads in as you discover them or something. But that's too much scripting and too dynamic. But I never understood that design choice in the original game.
Yeah, I'm pretty much happy with. I've seen a couple of those mods there, Vivid Weather mods, and the Realistic Water 2 or something like that, I think is on there. But
Yep.
I'm happy enough with what I've been given. I think SE stands up very, very well. I didn't feel the need to change the water. It's a lot better than the Legacy Skyrim one. And I didn't feel the need of changing it to a mod that's going to do something extra to it. It looks good enough as it is.
Yeah, I would sort of agree with you. Although I did do a little bit of testing with that today. I took test many things out into the middle of Lake Ilinalta and because he wanted to get he insisted on the Lady Stone. I wanted him to have the Warrior Stone, but no, he wouldn't do it. And so we're standing up on a rock on that little island out there and looking at the water. And so I turned Realistic Water 2 on and off a couple times, and I would say go try it out and see what you think, because as good as much better or whatever as the water is in SE, I think it still has too much specular highlighting, and so there's those little, I find that really annoying, and the Realistic Water 2 takes that away and makes the water look a lot smoother, and it also, I mean, now at least the water moves in a natural way. It follows the path of the rivers instead of sort of moving diagonally across rivers, which is really jarring in the original game. So they fixed that up for sure. Here's another thing that in SE that Jeremy and Pat probably wouldn't know to notice, and that is that rain no longer falls through roofs. Which is really nice. It's actually a checkbox. If you look in the advanced options of the SE load menu, or the whatever you call it, when you load it through Steam. But yeah, in the original game, if you were standing on the porch of an inn or something like that, and it was raining outside, it would rain on you, even though you were standing under the roof of the porch. But now they have precipitation occlusion, or whatever they call it, and so it doesn't do that anymore. And doesn't snow through roofs either, it's just really nice. It's a definitely an added feature of the 64-bit engine. So
yeah, I noticed something else as well. When I don't know whether I'm remembering it correctly though. Werewolf, when you used to turn werewolf and then you'd turn back into a human, you were naked, right? You'd go back to being naked when you were finished being a.
I think so. Sorry, I'm muting my mic because the siren's going off outside here. But
because now, when you revert back to human form, it equips all your stuff again. So I think that's
nice.
A new thing of it. Yeah. So
it's been so long since I've been a werewolf that I barely remember. My roundtable character is a companion though. So
yeah, because I'm pretty sure that I watched, because in Gopher's playthrough he was a werewolf, and he installed a mod that equipped all his equipment after he reverted back into a human form. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that now. But now in my playthrough, it just automatically equips all the stuff back on again, so that's quite nice. You don't have to mess around with which ring that I have on and which necklace that are there, and now I've got to refavorite my weapons and blah 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 blah. So you won't have that thing to worry about. Is there any quests that you guys have played that you kind of liked or didn't like that you've played that are not part of the round table?
I like I forget the name of the quest, but the one where you restore Meridia's gem.
Oh yeah.
It was a good dungeon crawl, nice mix of sneaking and fighting, a little bit of not a lot of puzzles, but a few things that were a little tricky. So that was just a good old fashioned dungeon crawl. I really had a good time with that one, and it was surprising just because at the I forget where you pick up the MacGuffin that she starts it off with. You just all of a sudden that's in some random chest. It's like, oh wait, there's this thing, and all of a sudden there's a voice in my head, and you get through in the end, and there's just it's a impressive setup with the light and everything, and then at the end you get the Daedric. You get your first Daedric weapon, which is what I'm using right now, the Dawnbreaker.
That's one of the best weapons in the game. Actually, one of the best sort of reward weapons you can get. I think
it's really nice.
That levels with you too. So
did not know that.
You won't have to worry about it sort of like being weaker as like the later you get on in the game.
Yeah, you're right. I just pulled it up here, and it's now doing 15 damage instead of 14 damage. Wow, cool.
That's like, for instance, Gopher, I believe, used that sword through just about his entire Richard playthrough, along with the shield called Spellbreaker, which you get from another Daedric quest. It's a great weapon. But you will have to refill its enchantment. The enchantment will run out, so be aware of that. You'll need to carry filled soul gems if you're going to use it a lot.
Huh. I didn't realize that. I knew that happened with the ones with your own that you made.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that happened with other magic.
There's some of them that don't. Have a look at it. I mean, it has the bar.
Has a gray bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The bar is. I don't know which is it. It's like 5/6 of it is gray or silver, and a little piece of it is black. I don't know if that means it's unfilling or if it's filling.
That means it's
unfilling.
Very slightly unfilled, yeah.
Okay, and I've used it a hell of a lot since I got it. So
that happens slower at lower levels. The higher level it is, the quicker it uses up the.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, that's really good to know that make sure I've always got a charged soul gem or two with me.
Yeah, definitely. Any other quests, Jeremy? You've done any?
I did obviously the round table quests, and then I've kind of just been derping around and trying to read, or at least open as many books as possible, because I know I've opened a few, and I've gotten a couple of quests, a couple of miscellaneous quests through those.
Yeah, there's at least two that I can think of. There's the Red Eagle and there's the Ethereum Wars. Those are the two. Are there any others, Colin? I don't remember.
You can get the Forgotten, Untold Legends. That's the one with the gold or amulet, I believe.
Yeah.
Amulet. But that's quite good.
Yeah, I haven't done much. I just started the Mages College. So is
that your faction?
Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah. Or if it's not, I want to get. I'm assuming doing that will help my Magicka.
You'd be able to buy spells, higher level spells, because if you go back to the court mage in the towns, he always has the same sort of spells. If you want to buy the higher level spells when you get better and better, you have to buy them from the Mages College, which really annoyed me. Because it didn't happen in the start of my playthrough, but through my playthrough, my character absolutely hates mages. Really hates them. She does use some magic. I'll go into it later in the round table. But she does use magic, and to get her higher level spells, she had to enter or get in to the bloody Mages College, and she specializes in one school. And then when she got to Feralda, she was like, "Oh, cast this spell," and it wasn't the school that she was training in. It was really annoying. All right, just let me the F in. That really annoyed me. So
yeah, and in the Mages College, there's a specific mage for each discipline of magic, so you have to find the right one. Tolfdir is alteration, and as Colin said, Feralda is destruction magic, and Colette is restoration, and I forget who else is what, but so. But that's a great. I think that's one of the better well, it's one of the better guilds, I guess. Guild quests. I think Mage's College is really good.
The payoff for the bards one is funny, where they have their little bardic Burning Man. It's
Just such awful. But the poetry is so terrible.
It's terrible.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But the quest in there, that one big quest that you do, is a really good one. That's one of the better quests in the game. I always like that one a lot. So. So it's a give and take thing. I think Andrew has already done it, right? I believe.
I think he has, yeah.
He posted a picture in there, yeah.
Yeah, plus you also get some more extra quests. I don't know whether you got them. If you speak to the other people in the Bard's College, they'll send you off to get other stuff.
Yeah, there's a couple like go grab a flute and some just stupid stuff like that.
But the rewards for them are huge.
Oh, yeah, okay, good to know.
Definitely, yeah. And those are some of the quests that like. There's a lot of quests that the item won't trigger until you trigger the quest, but those, for some reason, you can find those items lying around in the world. Whatever, I won't tell you what they are, but
they're actually in specific locations.
Yeah.
It's not randomized.
Yeah.
So.
But that was oh really? Oh, I didn't. I guess that never clicked with me. I didn't realize I always found them in the same place.
They're always in the same location every playthrough.
I'm observant. I really am.
Once you get them in your inventory, you won't know that this is a special thing, but it'll never leave your inventory. Because there's this one quest you go through this certain area to get to another area. And I picked up this one certain item, and that's it. It was in my inventory for the rest of the game. Couldn't get it in, and it was a part of basically a fetch quest. But this thing is like those like the drum and stuff are in a specific place. Once you pick it up, I didn't know who the hell it belonged to, so I couldn't find the person to give it back to. And literally 3 playthroughs later, I was walking around killing a dragon, and there was some NPC next to me. And I turned around and looked at him and looked at his name, and I went, "You bastard!" I screamed at the bloody thing, and it was him. And I went back to my old save, to my old character, got the bloody thing, and ran it all the way back to him just so I could get it out of my inventory. But
that brings up one point about quest items, and they do not count against your weight, by the way. So like the Dragonstone, which shows as 25 pounds in your inventory, it doesn't count against your inventory 25 pounds. Not that it stays in your inventory very long, but
but if you get a quest, like a sword as a quest, part of a quest that you're supposed to bring it somewhere, you can just keep that your inventory and never give it to the other person at the other end. So then you get a weightless sword or a weightless weapon in your inventory that you can use. But never usually any good. But if you want to keep it, you can.
Cool. Never realized that either.
There's one where you can do with the companions where Vilcus gives you his sword. And you can get that, it'll be a weightless sword. And then if you drop it off, if you do drop that off, you get to pick up Ayla's shield. Right. So then you can have it carry around a shield that's weightless and stuff like that.
I'm such a good little boy. I always just take them, drop them where I'm told to.
So do I. But I just thought, I thought I'd give you some.
No, you're 100% right. It's like, yeah. But I guess I'm too much of a rule follower or something. So you were talking about your backstory, Colin. I know you wanted to mention some of the other ones that people have been posting in the group lately. So
there's been some amazing feedback from the community on the Facebook group, and there's a couple but I left it too late when I decided to do it. So literally, I just sent a couple of people some messages through Facebook on the page. right as the show was beginning. So, and I don't want to read them out just in case that they don't want me to, or that they're a little bit embarrassed or anything like that. But David managed to get back to me, and he said he'd be happy enough for us to read his out, which I'm really glad about, because it's a real fun backstory, and it's well thought out, and I literally put a smile on my face when I was sitting there reading it. He says a little message beforehand, which is really nice of him to say as well, is after reading and enjoying all of your character backstories, I thought I'd have a go at one myself on my current playthrough with Fizzle. And his character is Fizzle the cat. It's a Khajiit character, and it looks pretty badass in his Nordic carved armor as well. So this is where he starts off. And this is the backstory of David's character, Fizzle. So it goes, what little is known of this particular Khajiit is both fragmentary and not altogether reliable. In fact, there are no records of his birth or parentage. He is believed to have first shown up in the Elsewerian city of Orkrest under the name Sylvan Treetor, a most un-Khajiiti moniker. There he joins the Kaj Eshita, a band of talented rangers who patrol the wildlands around the city in an effort to keep the peace and enforce law. He quickly makes a name for himself with his natural finesse with a bow and his talent for telling tall tales about his supposed childhood. Give me a second. None among his fellow Kaja took these childhood accounts seriously, as they were oft to be fanciful and contradictory. They were, however, most entertaining, and many were recorded by his good friends and notorious fable spinner, Maik. In one such tale, Sylvan asserts with uttermost sincerity that he saved an entire village from the ravages of the Thracian plague by piling all the people into a single cart and single-handedly marching them out of Elsewhere and into the relative safety of Cyrodiil. There he nursed each one and every one of his fellow countrymen back to full health. A preposterous tale, of course, not least because the Thracian plague occurred in the First Era, but such were Sylvan's tales. After growing tired of serving with the Kaja Eshita, he dips out of recorded history for almost 10 years. That is, until someone matching his description turns up in the town of Coral, in the company of the enigmatic master thief Shashika. Almost immediately, the town is beset on a spree of high-profile burglaries, including, most bizarrely, the Count's throne and every single painting in the castle. When Shashishka vanishes from both Coral and the history books, the town guard promptly arrests Sylvan, who now adamantly insists upon being called Imperious Whiteflower for the spate of his thefts. He never confirms or denies his involvement in these crimes and is promptly thrown in jail. There he stays for 6 days without complaint and ingratiates himself with his jailer by recounting many of his tall tales. On the 7th day he is gone, and no Khajiit matching his description is ever seen in Cyrodiil again. 17 years pass. There's civil war in Skyrim, and an Imperial patrol happen upon a most unusual sight near Fort Newgard. Coming down the mountain trail, before them is a lean, dark-furred Khajiit and 6 dead and raised chickens following on behind him. As he is questioned, one guard spies a trail of dark red blood splayed against the snow further up the path. Upon investigation, 6 bodies, both men and mer, are found most brutally murdered upon the mountainside. The Khajiit neither confirms or denies his involvement in this crime, and so he is arrested and brought before the chopping block in Helgen. When the soldier asks his name, "You may call me Fizzle," he says, "and I have most pressing business in Skyrim." Absolutely awesome.
Yeah,
Great.
terrific.
Mr. David. That was fantastic, and thank you very much for posting it. I had a lot of enjoyment reading it.
Yeah, that's that was wow. That backstory is worthy of an entire just an entire. It's as good as some entire quest playthrough. It's really really nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. And several other good ones too. So
There was there's some really good ones in there, but as I said, I left it too late to send a request to make sure that it was okay to read them on air. So I'll wait, and then we can probably do it. Or if they're sending in feedback for the next round table, we can add it onto there.
yeah, well, totally. We should encourage people to do their read their own and send them in as feedback for any of these episodes, roundtable or whatever. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and people can do audio feedback, a voice memo on a phone or whatever. We'll love to hear the audio feedback as well as emails or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. That seems let's see, it's getting on there. Seems like a good spot to leave it, unless you guys have other stuff to bring up for this episode.
No, sounds good.
Yeah,
Cool.
pretty good. How about that? Jeremy, did you need any other sort of like things quest wise, or sort of like where you're supposed to go when you like?
No, not right now. I think I'll definitely have more as we play deeper into the game, but we'll just have to have a couple more of these podcasts, I guess. Get these questions.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then thank you everybody for listening, and thank you guys for joining in today. So for Jeremy and Pat and Colin and me, we're signing out for, I believe this is episode 108 of a Skyrim Addict, or something around that.
Or 173, depending on who you ask.
Oh yeah, or 173. Yeah. So goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Later, guys.
See you in Skyrim.